It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey folks, today I'm taking a look at this little card game from Amigo, which as you can see is in German, but it basically translates to 3's a crowd. And you're about to see why that's the title. This one is a very simple card game with colors and numbers. I tend to like this sort of thing. Let me show you how this one works, and then I'll tell you what I think of it. So here's what the game looks like. I'm going to be showing you a game with 3 players, basically, but you have some bonus scoring cards here on the side. Each player is going to be given 20 cards from the deck of cards that they'll shuffle up. They'll have their own personal deck of 20, and from those 20, then they will draw 8 cards into their hand, and then we set up the 0, the 30, and the 60 cards here in the center, and you're ready to begin. The objective of the game is to have the most points, of course, and you are going to be scoring points in this game by collecting colors in front of you. At the end of the game, for every card you have face up in front of you that is of that color, and you have a single one, that's 2 victory points. If you have 2 cards of the same color in front of you, then that is 5 victory points. However, if you ever have a third card in a color, and so let's say this happens, then at that point you are going to take all 3 of these and turn them face down, and each one is -1 point. And you could start collecting that color again, getting positive points again, but all 3 of these are now -1 point each. So that's what you're attempting to avoid. And of course, having 2 is great. Having 1's okay. Having 3, well, 3's a crowd, right? So that's the idea. And the way the game plays is very straightforward. You are going to, on your turn, play a card, then draw a card. Depending on the card you play, you put it after the number that it would go after. And so the 24 goes after the 0, but not after the 30. It's not high enough. If someone later plays another card that would also go in that row, you simply slide everything over and put that card where it would fit. And so someone later might do that, etc. Again, you always play one and draw one from your own personal stack. The way cards are taken from the center here is every time you have to play the 5th card, and I am counting this as a card, then you are going to end up taking something from the center here. And the way that works is quite simple. If you play this card here and I shuffle this over, then I take everything after that card. So if I'm the one who played this, I would get this card, and this card in front of me, organized by color sets. If I instead, this is the setup, and I play this card here, then I get just the 70 because it's the only thing after. Just like if I only play this, if I'm the this is the last one played, I get both of these. If you play the very last card, then you get this first one. So that's it. You play this, you get everything after it. Same thing, same thing. And if you play the last, you just get the first. Everything else will stay there. You continue doing this, of course, until you've run out every card in your hand, every card in this little personal deck of yours. Then you count up points, like I said, and you might get a bonus throughout the game and possibly one at the end of the game. Throughout the game, if you're ever showing all 7 colors, then you're going to get this card, which is 10 victory points. If you're the first one, you get 10. Anybody who does it after that, they are only going to get 7, etc., etc. And then these, if you are still showing, or are showing 7 colors at the end of the game, you get 10. If you are showing 6 colors at the end of the game, you get a bonus 5. These are double-sided. So you just, if you earn either one, then you take that card. And that is pretty much the game. Try to make sets, but make sure they don't go over 2 cards each. And if you have the most points at the end of the game, you are the winner. One game that this little card game immediately reminded me of course, and probably you as well if you've played it, is 6 Nimmt, Category 5, Slide 5, the same game. And the main differences here is that, of course, 6 Nimmt is a simultaneous play game, but otherwise they're very similar. You are trying to avoid cards in that game, And in this one, you do want some up to a point, and I like that. I think this works beautifully. I think it flows extremely well. It's got a nice cadence to it. It's about 20 minutes or so. And for my money, I think I would play this more than 6 Nimmt just about every time. I know that 6 Nimmt is considered by many people to be a classic in the genre of little card games, really. And it does play a big group, so it's got that over this. But this is not simultaneous. It's got some nice game of chicken in there where you're holding on to a card, just hoping that someone will clear something else. So you can, boom, drop off a card that, if you play it otherwise now, would hurt you because you take that third card in whatever color and there that goes. So, very clever game. Really clean. Nothing necessarily original here. Nothing new here. But all the parts that do make up this game, I think, work extremely well. And I'm very happy to have it. I think this is going to be one of those little card games that goes into rotation for me. I got a few of them like that. And I can see that this is going to be one of them. So, 3's a Crowd from Amigo. Really neat little game. If you want, a filler in the numbers and colors sort of genre, then you got to check this one out. 3's a Crowd. Thumbs up from me, guys.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.